Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Are you an inspiring entrepreneur? Or maybe you're an entrepreneur looking to take your business to the next level. My name is LarryWBrooks, and I am the author of Empowering Quotes for the Entrepreneur in You and The Entrepreneur Code. In these two books, I guarantee you there's success secrets that will take your business to the next level. I personally invite you to visit LarryWBrooks.com. Go under the books link and purchase your signed personal copy from myself. You have a great day and have an awesome 2020.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I urge you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, please visit our website at brooksanddavis.com. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this Thursday. My co-host is not only a Texas real estate broker, a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, known the world over as the Texas Real Estate King, holding it down with us on episode 144 of the podcast is Mr. Larry W. Brooks. What's going on, my guy?
Hey, we in the building again, Rick. You know, whenever I hear 44, man, it always remind me of that song, the Fofo, drop riding on Fofos, swinging.
Tipping on Fofos.
Tipping on Fofos.
Man.
Yeah, it's always a good song that come back whenever I hear Fofo and anything.
Hey, man.
Plus, that was one of the most popular bus routes that I would take when I was a child.
I see. Now you throwing me alley-oops and lobs. As always, big shout out to everybody on the Northside Niggas home, man. 44 always represents, especially on episode 144, the 144, PRN, man.
Yeah.
Man, it's great to be here with you this week, man. Been enjoying lovely weather here in Houston.
Yes, sir.
Man, what's been going on this week in the world of the Texas Real Estate King?
Man, you know what? Just staying busy, man. We've acquired 2 new office spaces with Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, so the expansion is taking place right now, and so we've just been building out that vision. Our calendar stays full with events that's taking place at the corporate office, so now just, adding to the calendar and placing them at other offices has been our main venture this past week. So what can I say, man? It's been exciting.
I mean, you've outdone yourself this week, man, as far as the guests that you've able to help us have sitting in this week, man. One of the cool things about having this platform with you is that we've been able to touch our audience in so many different ways.
That's right.
As far as helping them with real estate advice or
That's right.
getting them involved in the real estate industry. But one of the things I'm most proud of is how entrepreneurs from all different aspects of real estate, mortgage, title,
really important,
all check us out on a weekly basis. And then entrepreneurs and other outsourcing like trucking and stuff like that. So today's guest, I think, is going to be able to help all of those people that have had bright ideas for so long, but just haven't been able to put them into practice.
That's right.
And bring those visions to fruition. So without any further ado, I want to introduce this week's guest. This week's guest is not only a highly successful entrepreneur, but he is one of the most experienced business coaches that you'll ever be able to work with. He's be able to take your idea from fruition to actual product placement and bringing it to the market. And without any further ado, I would like to introduce and thank him for being on the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, Coach Jean Austin. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you guys for being here. God
now,
is definitely blessing us today.
No, I mean, I thank you so much for sitting in. We had a chance to talk before we started recording, and one of the things that I was most impressed with when I was doing my research into not only you as a business person, but your business brand, is how not only can you provide consultation, advice, but you're actually able to help these people get off the sideline and actually get into the game. So from a business consulting and coaching standpoint, could you just share with our audience a little bit about Austin Business Coaching and what it is that you provide?
Yes, I would appreciate that. Awesome Business Coaching, Awesome Business Strategies LLC is a firm. We've got a combined 220 years of experience on the team.
Wow.
Everything from analysts to trademark attorneys, intellectual property attorneys, legal structure attorneys. We consult with you from the beginning to the end. And the goal is we don't want to just take the idea and just say, hey, go be an entrepreneur. We want to turn you into a business owner, but ultimately a CEO, not a chief executive officer, but a chief empowerment officer.
Oh, wow.
You want to empower the people around you, and having a foundational, fundamental understanding of this business in your genre is what's pivotally important. We see a lot of statistics about why businesses fail.
Right.
And there's tons of them. But the research we've done, everything goes back to not having a foundational understanding of business, not having a business plan, not being structured and positioned to execute said vision.
When I was studying your website and going along and coming comfortable with your services that you provide, one of the things that I noticed that you speak on a lot is how business education, investment education, has been so disproportionately presented to the youth in this country from an educational standpoint. Could you talk a little bit about why you're so passionate as far as the education portion of what you do?
Super passionate about it. One of the philanthropic ends or giving back, I was taught at a young age, and a lot of the high school teachers were PhDs, had masters, and they looked like me. But we had a public school, and they're like, no, you need to learn it this way. I was going to go to Morehouse. My mom said, nah, you black enough, you go over here to this predominantly school that doesn't look like you and learn how this works.
Right.
That things that you don't learn in this school. I said, okay, great. Didn't like it, but I like it now because it put me in front of education I wouldn't normally have had. Got into the entrepreneurial space, learned so much, have 4 degrees now, and those 4 degrees have helped me. They definitely haven't hindered me. And I get around the youth now, and it's interesting to see what their eyes light up when they see, wait, I didn't know that, but I can do that? Yeah, you really can do that.
Yeah.
And I had a little girl who was crying, 13-year-old. She wants to be a dancer, but she's like, I can dance and go to school and be a pharmacist? Like, yes, sis, you can.
Yeah.
Right.
Tears hit her eyes. I'm like, wow, she didn't really get that. So now she does, and she's going out there doing her thing. So that's education. We say knowledge is power, and it's half truth. Knowledge is power, but it's the execution of the knowledge that gives us the power. So the wisdom that we have, we want to give that to the youth, and that education is what really will take you where you need to be.
Yes, sir. I agree.
One of the most invaluable parts of your business is the business planning and strategy portion. You'd be surprised how many aspiring business people and entrepreneurs that I've met and that Larry's met over our career who have great ideas, who've taken copious notes, that have studied the market from afar, but from an investment in themselves standpoint or a financial standpoint, haven't been able or prepared to take that plunge. So from an implementation and strategic planning standpoint, what is it that you can share with our audience that they need to help get them over that hump, to actually believe in themselves, reach out to you, make the call, and start get their business future started?
I've been where a lot of people are, God willing. It's funny, you go through things and he's like, why you got me going through that, Lord? Why am I here at this job? Why am I in this valley? Why? And then now you see it and it's like, okay, I got it. And then you think, I could have just been quiet and told God, I just listen, right? You know, a lot of us are faith-based, so Scripture tells us, write it down, make it plain.
That's right.
The Word lives in us, and if the Word isn't written, it never sees the manifestation. So if you're at a 9-to-5 and you got those ideas, please write it down and make it plain. I understand I was there. No one saw me when I was in my house for 3-4 days at a time, locked the door, and had to write it all down. But no one was there when I got the phone call to go to Dallas for a development deal because I had a plan written. Oh, where's your business plan, sir? We'd like to see it. Was able to email it to him, made that drive overnight, was sitting there ready to go with the business plan on paper, PowerPoint, flash drive, ready to go. You don't see the behind-the-scenes work, but you have to have the behind-the-scenes work to get you where you have to be. And if it's not written down, what are people seeing when they present? You do your pitch and your spiel, and that's great. But when you leave, your representative should be on paper so they can reflect on that. Oh, that's what he meant. That's what she said. Okay, got it. That's the part we miss.
You know, and what's so important about what you said was the importance of that business plan and how it speaks for you even when you're not there. So could you talk about, to our audience, and share how easy it is for someone to reach out to you, present their ideas, and start getting that business plan developed through your organization so that they can put their best foot forward in those circumstances?
Yeah, very simple. I have a digital card. I don't carry business cards around. Technology has put us in a position where you type in coach10k.com and all my social media, all the contact information is there. Once you click on the contact us bar, the consultation list is there. Pick which one fits best for you, and we're good. My assistant, Kendra, will put you in the best position on the schedule. We'll sit down. We'll go over it. Have your notepad ready because it's going to be filled when we're done. But the important part of it is that we'll make certain that your idea puts you in position to have that business fruitful so that you have long-term success.
And you've had so many satisfied clients that have provided you with testimonials and spoken to the quality of your services. If you wouldn't mind, without getting really entirely too specific, but could you share with our audience an example of a client that you met that you were especially proud to help put on the path to success?
Yeah, I won't say any names because, of course, you know.
I mean, of course.
Yeah. But I'll say specifically, I was raised, I'll kind of put two and two together. I was raised to always protect the sisters, protect the queens. This is what we're supposed to do. So a lot of my target audience are aspiring either physicians or teachers or whatnot, but they're either Latino or African-American sisters. And it's inspiring to see them put in that work, but just a little guidance to one just on the way here, got a phone call. She's driving to Houston, meet with some family out here. She's got her business going. She's got a food truck. She's acquiring a restaurant right now. So, you know, all of this is happening. And she's like, Coach, I don't know. I said, just follow the plan. And today she's in tears. And I'm glad I just listened because I was tired.
Right.
I was really tired of trying to do it on my own. And the things you told me in a matter of 2 months, I didn't get in 2 years of these other things that are going on. So now it's a matter of she's got a plan now of how long it'll take her to be sustainable and get away from the job she's doing and really be that chef full time.
And you know what's so strong about that, and if you wouldn't mind, was how were you introduced to this client? Because I want anyone who can hear the sounds of our voice who's sitting in that same position to know that it doesn't have to be a miraculous occurrence for them to cross paths with you. So how were you introduced? Was this a random occurrence? Was it mutual friends or mutual business contacts?
A lot of my clients are random. Either see me on IG or they'll hear me on Clubhouse, and I'm like, oh, you heard that? They'll hear me say something, and they'll send a DM, and I didn't think you would respond to my DM. I was up till 1 in the morning. I'm responding to all the Clubhouse DMs, all the Instagram DMs, and I just want you to be authentic and just tell me what it is that you want to do. Be real with me. You know, I'm not about to shucking and jiving, but with her, it was just, Coach, I need some help. I heard you say something. What do I need to do? And she did it. And we started talking. She set up a consultation, and it was on and popping from there.
I want, if you don't mind, for you to share from your website some of the different business services that you provide. Because if you're in our audience and you're like, well, I already have my business started, maybe Coach Austin isn't in a position to help me because I'm already down the road a little bit. So just talk about your copywriting services, trademarking services, and all those type of things that not only help new business owners, but those established business owners protect what they've already built.
Got it. And it's funny because I'm working with younger businesses now, 0 to 5 years. But I started out probably 10 years ago working with small cap companies that had large organizations. That became a little too, it just was draining at a point. And I was called more to help those at a more of a grassroots level. So we give an A to Z format for business. So if you're starting out and you have a brand, you need a trademark, we can handle that. And it's not just me doing it. I have a team. I have a trademark attorney on staff. I have an intellectual property attorney on staff that handles all the copywriting for you. They are licensed in every state to do what they do.
Wow.
If you're looking at setting up a trust, different things of that nature, they're there for that. Website development, branding services, marketing services, we have. Coach doesn't do it all, but I've got a team that does do it all. I have analysts that write the business plans for you. I've developed a questionnaire over the last 10 years, 10 plus years, that helps you get to that point. So everything that you're needing, I've touched, and I only teach what I've touched and what I've done. But I've built a team that gets you to that position no matter where you are.
Having such a talented team as part of your organization not only allows you to provide top-level service, but also have business professionals working with you that have expertise, knowledge, and experience in their chosen field of endeavor. But one of the things that I'm most interested in asking you about, especially for our audience's sake, is to talk a little bit about your background from a business perspective, how you've evolved as an entrepreneur, and some of the lessons that you've learned as a business owner, because I'm sure that when people meet you right now, Coach, they can just see you from the sphere of meeting you that day. They may not necessarily understand how long you've been in the business, what type of ups and downs has come in your evolutionary path, and how you've evolved to what they see currently. So when we come back from our break, I want to get into a little bit about your life before entrepreneurship. Who motivates and inspires you, and is there anybody that served as an example in your life, if you don't mind?
I would like that. That'd be great.
I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. We're going to take a short break to hear from our sponsors, but we'll be right back.
I'm serial entrepreneur Larry W. Brooks, and I'd like to personally invite you to take a closer look at the Pure Hustle clothing brand, along with several books that I've authored to take entrepreneurs, small business owners to the next level of their business. So please take a look at shoplwb.com. How do you survive?
Rent to own is not a myth. Turn your rental payment into a down payment with Divvy Homes and the Prime Real Estate Network. All you need to qualify is a 550 minimum FICO score and $40,000 in annual income. If you've worked your current job for at least the last 6 months and you can prove that you have $2,000 in the bank, your dream of home ownership can become a reality. Please direct message, call, or email the Prime Real Estate Network today and learn more about this exciting new program. Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate, please visit our website at brooksanddavis.com. As always, my co-host is the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, enjoying it, man. You know, we got Coach Austin on here dropping gems, giving it to the people the way that they need it.
No, because, see, this is one of the things that, for the sake of the audience, I got to ask you.
Yeah.
How often are you in marketing, networking functions and events where you meet other like-minded professionals like Coach Austin that you add to your database of contacts? Because one of the things...
it's crazy because, you know, the funny thing is that before we met face-to-face, I met Coach. I heard him in a clubhouse room, and we followed each other on social media. And that same week, the Braden Group, shout out to Nikki, the Braden Group and the team. He and I just had a organic conversation. It didn't click to me that we had just started, like we became social media friends that following week, that week before. And so we just having an organic conversation. I'm like, man, he need to be a part of the podcast. He's dropping gems on me, and I come in contact with entrepreneurs often.
No, the reason I had to ask you that question on camera, Larry, because I've had DM questions and inboxes that'll ask us who is our show booker.
Yeah.
As if that we have like somebody, an outside third party booking show guests. And I always tell them, I say, no, these are people who we can reach into the phone and reach out to directly. So I just had to do that for everybody in the audience that think we have some fancy show booker that's finding all these talented individuals in the Houston area for us.
It is not, man. It's us coming in contact with like-minded people that we know is going to share gems with the audience, that's not going to take care of people just here in Houston, Texas, but it's going to take care of people worldwide. So as our audience grows, they're going to find benefits from the people that we bring on the platform. So,
absolutely, man.
But for everyone that's out there viewing through Facebook, we want to say we appreciate you. Those of you that are taking time to go to our YouTube page, the Prime Real Estate Network, and following and liking and taking a look at some of the episodes and even sharing with your friends that you know that are growing in this entrepreneur space, we appreciate you. Those that are following us on the Patreon, we appreciate you. That allows us to grow and to go take the show on the road to other places. So we're looking at being in Atlanta very soon. So you supporting the Patreon page really helps us get there. So with that being said, Facebook family, we love you. Go to the YouTube page, go to the Patreon, like, follow, and support us there. And y'all have a great evening.
Appreciate you, Larry. Man, I want to introduce this week's guest. This week's guest is business coach and the founder of Austin Business Coaching, Mr. Jean Austin. Thank you so much for sitting in with us, brother.
Appreciate it, guy. Appreciate it.
Now, I want to get right back to business because you did so much for our audience as far as enlightenment and education, as far as what's out there and how they can go about educating themselves and building a stronger company and brand. But I want to talk to you right now about your personal entrepreneur history and evolutionary track as a business owner. Could you talk about your life before entrepreneurship, what you did, and what was that trigger that might have motivated you to travel a path of business ownership?
Got it. I hope we got enough time today. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I was really raised around. I didn't know it was called entrepreneurship, but on my mom's side of the family, grandfather was a farmer, owned his land. I was in there cropping from sugar cane to cattle to, shucking corn. Whatever it was we had to do, I was out there. That was my summers. Every weekend I could be over there. I loved it. Loved country life, but learned a lot. Work ethic was, if a man didn't work, you weren't a man, and they made sure you knew that. On my dad's side of the family, real estate was in my blood since I was young, pouring concrete, setting forms, surveying, this, that, and the third, hosing off the concrete truck when it was going through. That was another part-time summer job. So that was the core of what we call entrepreneurship today. I didn't know about a career until my mom started in nursing, but she decided to go do that, and that was her career. She studied for it. She went out for it. Fast forward to moving out to Houston. I went to LSU, went to USL. Shout out to the boot. Started my education there, Players Alpha at USL, moved out to Houston, working at a Houston Medical Center. I was an analyst, a research coordinator analyst at Baylor College of Medicine, doing well, flipping houses part-time, got laid off at Baylor. Tough hit, was depressed for about a week and a half. That was rough. It was rough.
Week and a half, that's a good recovery time period. That's pretty good.
Look,
a lot of people stay down a lot longer than a week and a half.
I got out grown when you said that,
man. Called my grandmother, was talking to her, she said, baby, you know what you got to go do. Go do what God have you meant on this earth to do. Went see her. She cooked a little bit. She always cooking. She cooked a little bit, got my soul right, and came back to Houston. All right, let's go. Started with one property, had a nice portfolio of properties. Then the mortgage crisis happened. Lehman Brothers fell. I got a phone call about a month before, you better sell them properties. Wow. That's another conversation, but it's about relationships and connections. Thank God we did. I wasn't a big mover and shaker at that time, but we were able to get away from it. Again, depressed for about a month now. What am I going to do? At that point in time, it's like, okay, let's go back to the business plan and let's figure this thing out. How do I get from no properties, markets crisis, to moving forward? What's the new industry? Where are things at? How do I see it in the mix? So I'm not looking at the crisis that's going on. I'm looking at where's the opportunity in the crisis, what's coming up next.
Right.
So looking at that, we went into a commercial green space, took that idea from my garage to an international brand. Now, it took a while. I slept in my car a couple times. We had to move back to Louisiana, had a nice house in the west side of Houston, in the Katy area. Had to go back to Louisiana, turn the bathroom into an office, but I was going back so often. My kids didn't even know. My daughter didn't know I was sleeping in my car. But I had a membership at the health club, had a relationship with the dry cleaners. I said, okay, I'm going to sleep in this car at night. I'm going to go take a shower after I go to the gym and get my cleaners suits from the cleaners. I'm just make it happen. And we had to do what we had to do to make that work. So entrepreneurship, people don't see that part.
Right.
They didn't even see the part where we were growing, had products coming in from overseas here, had a warehouse in Atlanta, had a patented design feature for green commercial construction. In the midst of that development, it turned my last $50,000 I had to invest in myself. Was on a board of directors seat for a major company in Dallas. That took me international. That $50,000 turned into a $50 million contract.
Wow.
Turned into a $1.2 billion contract.
Come on now, don't miss that, people.
Hey, man, that's strong.
And it's not just talk. There's an article about my company with the $1.2 billion development that was on the ground. In the midst of all of that, wrongfully in prison, had to go through that, raped from my family, started 20 businesses inside, came out, hit the ground running from there, and it's like, Coach, how'd you do all of that? I just had to stay firm on my beliefs on what got me where I needed to be. The story of Job was a monumental story for me in Scripture, because even a righteous man can go through certain things.
Yep.
And I question God. I argue with God quite often. Why do you allow me to go through certain things? But then now, the brothers that I met on the inside, the brothers that I met coming out, the things that I'm doing now, I've been through so much negative things, but that was a small fraction of the monumental things I've been able to accomplish through God's will.
Yeah.
So you can run business any way you want to, but if I didn't have a foundational and fundamental understanding of how to get this done, I'd have called it quits a long time ago.
Wow.
And and I want to thank you so much for your transparency and sharing your story, because I know it's going to serve as an inspiration to so many members of our audience. But there's also members of our audience that know men and women who have gone through certain challenges, and they may not necessarily have been blessed with the enlightenment from God that you've had already. And their time may be coming to see a clearer path to how to have some of the things that people have told them they'll never have now. And I think that's the true power of your testimony and your story. And I thank you so much for sharing.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And then we were talking a little bit about some of your philanthropic endeavors. And I think we would be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to mention that to the audience. So please, sir.
There's a nonprofit here in the North Houston area called Becoming Kings and Queens. Shout out to Jay Thomas. It's interesting because I tutored her in her master's degree program. Another nonprofit organization referred her to me, said, hey, you need to talk to Coach, because she was actually failing and wasn't going to get her master's. He said, call Coach. He can help you with this, statistics, analytics, and all that. She went from failing to making all A's and B's, got her master's. She's an MBA now. And the business plan that she wrote in her master's school was the business that she's running currently.
Wow.
And I saw
I always love those stories, man. When you know, we had another gentleman it's called In the Mix. It's a social platform that keeps up with the nightlife of Houston. But he said the exact same thing. He said it came from him just doing some coursework, and then it turned into a real life actual business
that he's had for 20 plus years.
That he's had for 20 plus years. So when you talk about her achievement, I love that.
Very powerful.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those unsung stories that we don't see.
Yeah. Right.
So when I saw hers, it's like, listen, I'm already – the word coach is funny because it came from me. I coach youth football players. I wanted to play for LSU, got hurt, couldn't do it, wasn't that number one top star player, but always learned the game and coached a lot of youth players on fundamental sports. And long story short, one of my clients, I was coaching his kid, and he said, you coach business like you coach football. You should just be coached 24/7. I said, for real? And I thought about it. He's like, yeah, just be coached 24/7. And that's where it came from. Not I'm a business coach, because I see on Instagram and social media it's so watered down. And I don't want to get on that tangent because I'd be sarcastic and race people through the coals. But you can't coach what you haven't done. So anyway, but when it comes to Becoming Kings and Queens, she has an organization that looks at financial literacy and entrepreneurship for the youth.
Yeah.
And you look at my social media page, I was teaching those youth. And it's amazing to see how that works. So that philanthropic work, we put money into it, but we put time into it as well.
No doubt about it.
So they're doing a backpack drive now. You know, definitely check the social media out for it. The kids that don't have, one kid this weekend, it almost broke my heart. We were leaving the event, had the fun jump to food. It was hot. And this woman's out here working, and it's hot. And I don't see enough of my brothers out there. We need to do a little bit better in that community, but that's another conversation. She's out in this heat, and this little kid came up. He said, hey, Coach, we're leaving. You know, I hope you do okay this weekend, because you know about my grandfather passing. And he's like, you know, I hope everything's okay. He said, hey, you know, if you can think about it, really, you know, you could be my daddy. That'd be great.
Oh, wow.
I was
think about it, really, man. That's tough,
come on, man.
If you can think about it, can you be my daddy? You know, it's like, you know what, I'm going to just be here for you, dude. You know, if you need me, it's cool. But the lives that are changing by just being there.
No, and I mean, I'm going to tell you, Coach, I want to make sure I commend you publicly. One of the things that Larry and I talk about a lot on this show and then offline is the importance of giving back to the community. Being charitable, being philanthropic. So I want to thank you so much that you're doing. Continue the hard work, because it is absolutely needed. Thank you so much for being on our show this week. I'm sure my audience not only can take jewels that you've shared from a business perspective, but also some life lessons some inspiration and some
Yes,
motivation.
indeed.
So if there's ever anything you need from Larry and myself, or want to come back on the show to talk about what you have going on business-wise or philanthropically, please reach out to us because we'd love to have you, man. Thank you so much for being on with us, man.
For sure. Yeah, it's been great.
Mr. Brooks.
Nothing. I'm not doing nothing. They not going. Don't try to find me or nothing. Go to. Matter of fact, I take that back. Go to my Instagram page. That's where you'll find any resources where I'll be hanging out and all of that.
Hey,
You can pull up.
And that's what it is, man. So
Yeah.
I want to thank our guest, Coach John Austin, on behalf of myself, Rick Davis, and the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. Remember, we're only a call, text, DM, inbox message away. If you need anything, we're here for you 24/7, 365. So until next Thursday, thank you for checking out the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, and be blessed.